Here's a beautiful way the story ends. The army is loyal, right? The army wants to be loyal, but it's struggling. The ranks want loyalty to Christ, to country, but that the senior officers are loyal to the government, who are satanic. Okay, so the motion here is the man on the outside, the crazy man on the outside, finds a link into the army and puts this information down to someone and says that the country's been taken over. So it convinces this person in the army that the country has literally been taken over by a disease, and that this is the way that we strike right now. Speaking the information about God existing. So the Earth's the centre of the universe, the ether exists, reinforced concrete is parasitic to the rotation of the universe. So the ether is frozen in reinforced concrete. It's complex but simple, it's just that idea. Every piece of reinforced concrete is parasitic to the rotation of the planet. So we have a Diana rotation, we just go around every day. The universe does all its rotation relative to that one rotation that we do every day. And some of it takes a bit longer. So the ether, which is created here in our atmosphere, in all the in the layers, the infinite layers of our atmosphere, the ether is the rotation working itself out, the friction, the viscous handover. It's just in multi-layered. So the viscous handover, the friction that's created at the governor, the regulator, the center of the universe, is the atmosphere, the breathable atmosphere. It's all mixed up. The layers, the infinite layers become mixed up. The turbulence is created. The higher energy state exists all the time. Now, if you take that strength created from the center of the universe and freeze it in concrete, you're actually slowing, you're making the viscous handover thicker. The Reynolds number decreases, and it gets thicker. Okay? And so the secret is out, right? So this piece of science information then, right, that was a bit muddled, but that piece of science information is then tied up in a little tiny training film with some snappy videos. It takes 30 seconds, a minute, minute and a half to get that information across, and everyone goes into lockdown mode. So essential workers keep doing their essential work until it's no longer essential. Everyone else goes home, locks down. Absolutely immaculate behavior now, because what we've proven is that God exists and you're observed, and that when you die you go through a life review, and it's important that you've learned all the lessons about sin and shame before you die, and then you will have the experience, your correct evolutionary experience will exist for you in your consciousness. And then the rest of us who are trapped in the loop that's been created by all this corruption that's going on at that level, in the afterlife, in the after-death moment, there's a corruption going on. We nail that, we crack it now while we're alive, and everything heals. And it blooms and blossoms from this country, Great Britain. Right? So, the army is now taking control of Great Britain, takes over the BBC, transmits that short piece of information. The king sacrifices himself, just fucks off, and we install a new person on the throne. And I suggest that we have a Regency Council headed by Rupert Lowe. Let me help. Yeah, let me bring the information to these people, to the Regency Council, Rupert Lowe, Tommy Robinson, those sorts of people, but selected, now run the country, right? We get all these invaders are gone because the secret is out. In 2004, there was a meeting between senior members of the British Army, and they were informed by the government that the UK had been selected as a migrant prison camp. And that's where you live. And so just about what's about to happen is that the invaders are about to be given the keys to the police, and they are going to become the policemen. And so we want to stop that, don't we? We want to stop before that happens, like right now. And so this little rambling story that I've just told you is ours to take if you want it. Great Britain. The information I've given you is true. The references are immaculate. They're historical. 1861 Maxwell. Reynolds 1903, Leve 1906, and then the Portland Cement Association's Mungo Garte. That reference in engineering right now, which doesn't tell you what the theory is, proves that the ether exists, the earth, the centre of the universe, that God exists. Right now we're running on a corrupted speed of time because we don't have control of time, but we're about to get it. We are about to get the keys to the universe, humanity. If you would just fucking believe it's true. Yeah? Wake up. You're back in the room. Mankind has won. The future has begun. Ready, Great Britain? Let's start the story now. Get me the army on the phone.